Hello, Flat Earth researchers, debaters and debunkers. Sorry, no camera. It's refusing to work with OBS. So we'll give this a go anyway. Maybe I'll just end up talking to myself. Got to let me know if you're in there. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend so far. It's Saturday evening here in Phuket. Sunny Phuket. Getting sunnier as the summer draws on in this part of the world. So the idea here is to think about what heaven is for Christian heliocentrists. Show me Sasquatch. Hello, Oxbow Spirit. Ah, right, okay. Excuse me. Thanks for letting me know you're there. All right, let it fly. Will do, Oxbow. Yeah. Because this Bristolian. Hello, nice one. Okay, you may have to dash for the... Or dash the... All right, no worries. People have got their own lives to get on with. That's all cool. But, you know, just wanted to share this thought. I've been thinking about this. You know, obviously there are Christian heliocentrists out there. And for the most part, you know that, well, people just believe that we live on a globe because that's what we're told, yeah? But then, of course, you've got others who are pushing heliocentrism like a religion. Like religion is pushed sometimes. You know, and of course, if you've woken up from the heliocentric cult, then you realize that you were part of a cult and you were raised in it, and it's not really your fault if you fell for it because, well, everyone else had fallen for it. And no, they weren't all in on it. Even the scientists and all these people doing space, aerospace and things like that, no, they're not in on it. They're just in compartmentalized positions, and their knowledge and experience is used, and mathematical models are created. But anyway, so this is the thing, isn't it? That's what we see the globe as being, or heliocentrism as being. And oh, you know what I've got? I'm going to try and let me just. I've just got to check whether the chat is coming through on the screen. Just a second. Bear with me. I'm going to look at my own live feed.
ใหม่วิต a day วิตามินวอเตอร์วิตามินซี 1,000 มิลลิกรัม
All right, give me a... So, yeah, just while I address this technical issue. So, yeah, maybe the chat's not coming out. Okay, just let me
ใหม่วิต a day
not
วิตา
sure
มิน
what
วอ
to
เต
do
อร์
about
วิตา
that.
มินซี 1,000 มิลลิกรัม
Okay, so you're probably just seeing this YouTube chat thing. So, yeah, maybe the chat's not coming out. Okay, just let me... Oh, man.
ใหม่วิต a day วิตามิน
Chat amongst yourselves a second. Okay, and let me see if I can... Yeah, and then add it again. Oh, man. Chat amongst yourselves a second. Okay, and let me see if I can... No, I've just gotten rid of it. I'm sorry about this, guys. And then add it again. Anyone familiar with OBS that could tell me how to put the chat back in again? Sorry about this. Oh, you've been up all night watching the pantomime. Yeah, it did. You know, obviously we all had a watch, and that was the main goal, wasn't it? You know, we all knew it was probably likely scripted. I didn't make any predictions myself. I honestly couldn't say, but I think was it Jake the Asshole put out a prediction about 5 hours before the match, and I think he summed it up pretty well. But yeah, you know, he probably read into all the different aspects of it and made what I think was a correct assessment or correct prediction there. But yeah, you know, it was interesting when it was like watching a bit of a sparring match, and you know, I mean, imagine if whatever his name is, Jake, had won, then by a knockout, he probably would have felt pretty bad about that. He would have got some stick for that, wouldn't he? So yeah. It was all good business, wasn't it? It was all a lot of premium products available and showcasing, showboating and stuff. So yeah, and it's probably for whatever his name is, Jake Paul. It was more of a that was his moment. He made it happen. Okay, cool. Yeah, and Netflix has broken into live sports and is going to try and get a piece of the pie there. So, oh yeah, I'm feeding back. Sorry, because I had the thing on it should stop now. Man, what a mess! Sorry for bringing you into a stream. That wasn't so. I thought I was well prepared, but then I was a bit taken aback with the chat thing. There wasn't working for me, so we'll leave it there. I'm not going to bother messing around, and we'll just get on with the content. Yeah. So, you know. You think about it, the globe and all the arguments for the globe are a very physical thing based on, the dimensions, the fixed dimensions, and it's this, it's that, and you've got the heliocentric model. There's, the assumption that the sun's 93 million miles away and all that. So it's a model. We know it was introduced by the Catholic Church and all that jazz. But it's funny, isn't it? When, if you think about it, if I said to you elephant, then a picture of an elephant comes into your mind, and we all know what it is. If I say flower, we all know what a flower looks like. They might look slightly different for each of us, but then if you say earth, then of course most of the time a globe pops into your head, and that's not something you've ever seen. It's just something you've been shown and been told that is the earth. Yeah. Anything else that we're given that we know from our own experience, when someone says that word, a picture comes into our mind that's from our own experience, whether we saw it in a book or it's something we saw in real life. Boom, in comes the picture. But someone says Earth, we think of a globe. It's not something from our own experience. And you say the word Jesus, for example, and of course we can all imagine an image of Jesus because we've been shown it so many times. And this isn't about whether you believe Jesus to be real or not, or a prophet, or someone that existed and spoke the word of God, whatever, that's fine. The fact is we don't really know what he looked like, and historically whether it really happened the way it's told in the Bible and all that stuff, or the way it's interpreted by different people reading the Bible. But anyway, if you say Jesus, most people will have an image in their mind of Jesus, whether he's on the cross or he's got your long hair or the crown of thorns and all that. So then if you say, like I said, if you say earth, then there's a picture of a globe comes into your mind. Now, if you say the word God, then, well, you might have a kind of Simpsons-like picture of God appearing out of the clouds looking down or something like that, but really none of us have a picture of what or who God is, right? Whatever the intelligence is of the designer, the creator, okay? We don't have any kind of reference apart from the his or her or its creations, yeah? So equally, we have no idea about the construction of this place or how it came about or God's intent or whatever. Yeah, none of that. And we don't even know who or what God is. Now, we can all maybe pragmatically assume that there is intelligent design and everything that we see around us has been thought out, and like something that can then be left to thrive on its own. Everything's there for us to thrive and everything with each other and of course birth, death, it all comes. Suffering, it's all part of where we are. Okay. And then we got heaven. So, again, when it comes to heaven, no one has a picture. No, it's not really necessarily a physical place, although it might be seen or imagined as something in between. So, what does that say about this belief? There's a belief in heaven, or there's a belief in God and the realm in which God exists. Or do you believe that it all happens on the earth? But no, obviously there's space and there's planets and all that stuff, okay. But where's heaven in all this? So we have this finite earth with its fixed dimensions that have been proven to be wrong anyway. Images of a ball, images of Jesus. Yeah, images of heaven. There's a stairway to heaven, we imagine. Yeah? But this isn't it's not part of the earth, is it, in the heliocentric belief? It's not part of our physical experience. Yet there is a belief in these miraculous realms of heaven and maybe hell as well. And of course, hell is kind of seen as more of an underground thing, isn't it? There's, it's more. It would seem to be more of a physical place if you think about it compared to heaven. Heaven is like light, and you can fly around wherever you want, and all that stuff. The usual laws of gravity don't apply. But this is a place that the heliocentrist will believe in. The Christian heliocentrist will believe in. Yeah. So, you have this solid belief in a realm where the physics of this earth are completely abandoned. It's all different, where time might not really be what we experience. There's no real shape. There's no definitive. Is it up there? Is it up in the sky? You can't see it, can't touch it. People can claim that they've been and come back, or got halfway and came back, but it's again, it's an imaginary thing. It's an imaginary place. But there's a belief in the afterlife. So there's a belief that basically, if you're a heliocentric or Christian heliocentrist and you're defending this heliocentric belief, well, you've kind of got these two beliefs. You've got this belief in this very physical, tangible world, and then you've got this belief in this realm beyond the earth, but I'm sure no one could actually point to where it is or how it works and what connection, if any, it has to the physical earth. Yeah? So, do you see what I mean? When you talk to a flat earther and you're talking about models and demanding this and that and creating false dichotomies about, well, if you believe this or you see this happening, then you must be one of these and one of those. Yeah? Well, the thing is, there's an understanding that we are in a realm, and the dimensions of which we don't really know. And so, life on this earth is as mysterious as what life in heaven might be. But this is it, we don't really know. All we know is what we've been shown or told, or other people's ideas. Now, some globe believers might argue, well, okay, I can believe in God, but why shouldn't God create Earth as a ball or a marble if he or she can do that? Why not? Well, it's not really why not, but it's like, who are we to claim that we know what's really going on? We don't understand heaven and hell. We don't necessarily understand God's will, if there is any. We don't understand any of this, yet, many of us will worship it. And I don't say there's anything wrong with that, but there has to be this realization that, it's easy to worship anything, idolize anything. I can't remember exactly what Jesus or the Bible says about false idols, but is the globe a false idol? Are models false idols? What's that, gal? I know, guys, you're all aware of Erewhon's What on Earth Happened, but his work must be a baseline document for all rejecting this ridiculous here. Okay, I'm not too aware of that, so I know you might have pointed it out before, gal, so I'll have a look at that. Erewhon's What on Earth Happened. Okay, thank you. One man, hello there. All right. Yeah. So, you see, this is the, I don't expect an answer from any Christians, but I want to, and it's not really, well, it's out there to provoke thought about what are you actually arguing for. If you're pushing for the globe belief and models and claiming that certain things can only happen because that's only possible in one or the other model, well, what's your model for heaven? What's your model for hell? Where does that fit into the whole heliocentric thing? Are they just completely separate? They're just different places? Well, okay, so if you're so fixated on physics and things like that, well, how, where does the light of heaven come from? Has it got its own sun? Are there physical properties to it that you would be able to explain scientifically? Yeah? And is it your place to question it and say, oh, it can't be true, it's not physically possible? So, if it's not physically possible, what are you doing believing that there is only one model of the earth possible based on a whole bunch of explanations that has the same religious connotations of a beginning and an end, this kind of material outlook of it? Yeah. Was that one man? Everyone wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Yeah. Well, maybe there's a point when you feel ready to die. And that's probably a good thing. Maybe that's the whole point, yeah? So this is it. On this earth, in this realm, I'm talking about the earth that we all kind of know isn't a globe, but are not necessarily saying we know what it is or how it works or all that. But what if heaven and hell are all being played out right here? There are enough hellish things going on the earth, right? There are children getting blown up, yeah. All sorts of horrific things are going on. There's also simultaneously many wonderful things going on, yeah. There's life and death happening all the time, whether it's painful or not. It varies, right? So, is there a need for somewhere outside of this realm for it all to happen? Or does it all happen right here? Is it all happening right here? Is everything, are you and I, incarnations of God? Is a blade of grass an incarnation of God? And does it matter to God what happens to it? Because ultimately we're talking about, life, the universe, and everything, and we're trying to find out where we are, where we fit into the big picture. But what is the big picture? Is the big picture all happening right here and now, down here, or wherever it is, and nowhere else, or is it everywhere, infinitely, in different realms, whatever? We have absolutely no way. So again, we look at the sky and the it's funny, really, isn't it? Because this whole thing about gravity, the arguments about gravity, to be honest, they are in some ways futile. We can talk about all different scenarios. I was thinking about air pressure, recently, and how strong that force is. You know how two hemispheres of the same size, even without a rubber seal, but they can be held together. If they are put together and a vacuum is created inside, then the outside air pressure will keep those balls together. There's no way that you can pull them apart with tons and tons of force. Yeah, so there is actually tons of force on us due to air pressure. I know it dissipates as it gets higher, but I mean, where does that come from? What gravitational effects does air pressure have itself? Or do you assume that something else is creating the gravity? You know, it's endless, right? One man says, not knowing what you are, where you are, and why you are must be hell. Well, it kind of is, isn't it? Because that's probably why we are so fixated on having answers, some sense of security, some rock to cling on to, even if it's a rock spinning wildly through endless infinite space. It's something. It's a piece of driftwood in the vast ocean. Yeah. So, yeah, it is frightening, isn't it? You know, and I think that is what... in fact, is it, you know, if you do think about the God and Bible, I mean, one of the teachings really is to not fear. And I was thinking about this the other day. Almost everything that we think or do is somehow based on fear. It is a driver for so many things. People commit atrocious acts because they are experiencing fear in themselves. You would only attack someone if you feared that you were going to be attacked by them. You know, so yeah, I mean, we see that hierarchy is predominantly based on fear, not necessarily good nature. And we see it all happening right here on Earth. Yeah, don't take my ball away. Yeah. And of course, there's a fear that you might not get into heaven once you die. So, you know, there's that fear to conformity, consensus. You know, it's all based on fear. I mean, you've seen the events of 2020, 21. Yeah, I mean, look how destabilized the whole world became, and how fear was used. What's that, Gal? North Star, Hyperborea, the Tree of Life, 4 isles divided by 4 rivers, and the black rock in the middle, or so-called heaven. Ah, okay, so, yeah. I mean, the Buddhist scriptures talk about place, you know, like realms being on this earth that are only accessible when you've reached a certain height of enlightenment. So, you know, a bit like the kind of Harry Potter magic, you know, you're only able to access them if you're of good intent. So, yeah. I mean, I've heard some amazing stories about how, you know, Buddhism or Buddhist practices of Buddhism. It's because it's not a belief, it's not a religion, it's a philosophy, and it's a way of life, and it's a way of leading a truth-seeking life, basically. You are seeking the truth. And no Buddhist will claim to know what heaven and hell is or where they are, but I'm sure that they would talk about those realms being places that we enter, you know, inwardly, as it were. You don't necessarily physically step into these realms. So yeah, you know, think about it, Christian heliocentrists. You're pushing this globe model, and you're making claims that flat earthers have only one model. And that's, all that is. We see it for what it is. We see it for, it's just a false dichotomy. The same way that politics works. The same way that, boxing fights work. Or whatever. We presented with something and said, this is what it is. This is the thing that we need you to be focused on. Yeah, this or that, one or the other. Which one are you going to bet for? Is there a third option? Which party are you going to go for? Well, actually, there's lots of options. We should know by now that no one ever can present just two choices. There are always a gazillion other choices in most situations. But a lot of the time we can't think about it. This is it. I think my thoughts about fear were that when we are filled with fear, we make terrible, wrong decisions. That's the thing, isn't it? If there's fear in you, you make stupid, irrational decisions because you're in that fight or flight mode and you're reacting. Yeah. So if fear is being pushed in any form, then the reason it's being done is to create a reaction. Whereas when you do not have that fear, you have a lot more clarity of thought. In fact, you don't allow, or the thoughts don't intrude, they don't take over. You are not pushed around by them. And you end up not even having to make decisions because you just allow things to unfold. Your fear doesn't kick in and change the direction of things. Hi, Flatsoids. Heaven doesn't work for heliocentric Christmas. Okay. Yeah. Hey, I don't mind celebrating Christmas traditions and stuff like that. That's fine. Keep traditions alive because they, when a culture loses certain traditions, that's a very sad thing. Yeah. But yeah. So when fear. And there's nothing more fearful than having your ball taken away, as you said, one man and his detector. Yeah. Having that model, when people are insisting on one model or another, then they are exhibiting their own fear of, going on the attack to try and defend their ball earth belief. Yeah. One man, but if the traditions are part of a lie, well, okay, for example, a lot of us probably watched the boxing match today, right? But a lot of us would have been watching it with the awareness of all the promotion that's going on, all the monies that's being made, and as I said earlier on in the stream, someone, whatever his name is, Jake, he's manifested something that he wanted to achieve. He was lavishing the moment. Whether he actually won or not didn't really matter. It was he'd built up that moment and It was all scripted in that sense, but we still watched it with that awareness. And so, for example, there's nothing really wrong with, let's say, Christmas. Why there's no point in getting anti, just because you don't. Did you ever really believe the baby Jesus story? Or whatever story goes with some kind of tradition, Easter eggs, these are nice things. Do you stop flipping pancakes on Shrove Tuesday and having games? Do you stop having fates? We all understand that a nation as well, they need something that brings them together. They need this is, whether you're in the Marines or whether you're part of a society or a community, then keeping those, this is a problem we see, right, in the UK right now. We have strong traditions and they're wonderful in many ways, but then we've got that all being upset and now people are like talking about dropping these traditions and this and that because we've got such a diverse community. But no, it's like, let's take the stance. Well, look, you're welcome to come to our community, but please accept our traditions and our way of doing things, and everything will be fine and dandy. Yeah? And I do the same here in Thailand. You see, Thailand has maintained its sovereignty because it does have very strict immigration policies. You have to have the correct visa. If you don't, you'll get caught and kicked out. They don't make bones about it. You'll spend if you're caught before you're deported, you'll spend some time wallowing in a very packed jail with a bunch of Africans and whoever, Algerians or whatever. Yeah, people from all over. Other criminals. I know immigration is not a crime, but, you've got illegals, let's say, yeah? So you're not going to be treated very nice, and then you'll be booted out. And then you'll get a persona non grata stamp in your passport. Not allowed to return. Yeah? So this is the thing, Thailand is a wonderful place because it still has many of its traditions. There's a lot you'd love to change, especially the safety aspect of it and things like that. But hey, that's them, that's their way. They're not going out and trying to take over other countries. They're just who they are, and they've got their traditions. And why should I come in and disrespect them? Why should I insist that they change for me? I've come here, I'm a visitor, I'm a guest. I always will be. I have to accept that. Yeah? Well, that's okay. So it doesn't bother me that our family celebrates Christian and Buddhist traditions. So, and there's no argument, there's no thing, it's just they're fun times. So we put up the Christmas tree, and it's exciting for the kids, and you can get them thinking about what they can do for other people, make Christmas cards to send to grandma and things like that, so there's nothing harm, there's no harm in that, Yeah. So that was a very long answer to your question, one man, but I hope that kind of, you're welcome to disagree, man, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm not in a mindset that we should be antagonistic towards others, but yes, we do have to fit in with others. So there's always a nice middle ground that you can find. Yeah, I'm just looking at the chat now. Yeah. Flatsoids, yes, the bias creates a fear to just accept they could be wrong. Yeah. I've heard that accusation against us. Oh, flat earthers don't want to be proven wrong. I said, well, no. We realised we were wrong about the globe, and there's again, no one's defending a certain belief apart from the earth is demonstrably level. Well, thank you, one man. Nice one. Yeah. So, yeah, good point, Flatzoids. Yeah. But yeah, this is it. These things like this, whatever, that fight today, both parties involved would have learned something from it. It's an experience. I'm sure ultimately getting in the ring and doing that thing was a double-edged thing for Jake, whatever. Like I said, these things happen. I wouldn't take sides. It is what it is. Yeah. And so, yeah. But, yeah, I'm not sure what you mean, Oxbow Spirit, the belief of Aether. Who knows what people are talking about, really, when it comes to Aether. You could talk about, air, the atmosphere, where is it, how does it work, all that stuff. Yeah. But I think, though, that's the thing, isn't it? We know that you can't really have a vacuum as a medium because that's just, again, you need a container. Yeah. Well, that's it. The possibilities are endless, isn't it? Where are we? Are we in kind of some container? Is there a sphere around us, or a hemisphere, or are we in a sandwich? How infinite is the Earth? Yeah. Where are the sun and the moon? What are they? We're totally clueless, but there we are, making up all sorts of assumptions, and again, it's always based on a very limited understanding of what we can experience and test here on Earth. Yeah. Apart from that, it's again the whole thing with gravity. It's just you're making indirect measurements, and once you have those, you can. It's just like they do in algebra, isn't it? You know, you've got certain parts of the equation, and you fill in the rest. One man says, okay, so Flatso is saying the aether is different to different people, and one man is saying, I like to think of the aether as the canvas the world is painted on. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, the possibilities are just, just mind-boggling. So, no, I was going to say the when you think about it, measuring the rate of something falling to the earth and then associating that with the movements of the stars and the planets and the sun and the alleged movement of the earth. I mean, that's a massive, massive leap of faith, literally. You know, why make that connection? Again, it's not necessarily a discovery, but the only discovery was made is how we can measure the time it takes for something to fall through the air. That's it. Because they didn't have that. Whether something moves at a constant rate or an accelerated rate, again, what all you're dealing with is numbers that have been manipulated to equate to weight in terms of gravity, and then extend that beyond anything, beyond into the realm that we do not know and cannot reach, the stars and the sun and all that. Yeah. So for the record, I mean, this is the thing. When I'm told that, oh, if you don't believe in an upward rising Earth or if you disagree with it, well, you're struggling to perceive it, and I can't remember what the accusation was, but it's not. Constant speed. I mean, to me, things. If you drop something, it will in some terms accelerate because it was stationary, and then it's moving in a different direction or a direction down. So yes, it has accelerated, but then pretty soon it's going to reach a constant speed. And when things are at a constant speed, okay, all that layering or whatever is lost. So, you know, it wouldn't be, I agree, it wouldn't be acceleration, but there's an understanding that weight is described as acceleration because that's just a mathematical way you can arrive at working out kilograms. Yeah, terminal velocity. Yeah. Oh, you're back. Okay. What's that, Bristolian? I'm back. As we said before, we don't know, and it's a mystery, but we know what it isn't. Yeah, good point. That's it. Yeah. What's this? Flatsoid. It's amazing that every single demonstration requires a displacement ratio between object and medium. Yeah, this is it. I just see that we are limited. We are limited in, we're in what we can really prove. Again, it's all down to whether you're talking about the heliocentric gravity or whatever, whatever's causing the up and down. It's you're having to perceive something, yeah. And there's no, frankly, there's no observation that is made. Like, it's funny, isn't it? Because the globe, we know that no one ever observed curvature. It was just imagined. It was perceived for a model. And, okay, I've got personally no problem perceiving that the Earth might be moving in a certain direction, but there's no observation that would have us think that. If you're using the sky, for example, there, or, you're looking outwards, okay, we're not seeing anything. We're not seeing things go past us, so that would assume that the Earth, the sun and the stars and all that stuff, is all part of it, But then what? I mean, that's got its own physics going on, which we don't know about. So, yeah, I'm just it's like, yeah, we can all play around with ideas, and we can all imagine things like heaven and God and Jesus and globes, swinging balls. Yeah. Yeah, that's right, Gal. Even the word name planet comes from French word planète, which means flat. Ah, planet. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Well, the Thais talk about it as they use the classifier pen din. So din means earth, and pen means sheet. So they consider the earth to be a sheet. Yeah. Now, again, that's not due to any kind of whatever physical measurements or whatever, but it's obviously flat. Yeah, as far as we know. Yeah. But you see it all the time. I mean, you look at these YouTube shorts. If you just look up flat Earth and get some YouTube shorts. I mean, people are putting out this content all the time, and you can see that they're just jumping on board. Oh, what topic can I talk about? Oh, let's talk about flat Earth. And all they'll do is regurgitate the same old thing. They'll imagine gravity. They'll have a picture of a globe or the heliocentric model, and 3 reasons why the Earth can't be flat. And they're just some ridiculous stuff because of gravity, because boats go down a curve and things like that. Yeah, it's just nuts. I mean, I was looking back at some of the old Horizon footage the other day, and it's like, yeah, I mean, my opinion about that hasn't changed now since looking at it maybe 10 years ago. It's like, yeah, when you look across a flat surface, certain things happen. There's an angle of incidence which creates a horizon on the surface. And then there's mirroring beyond that. It's all distortion from diffraction. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, given that if light does behave in the ways that we kind of understand it, the way it enters our eyes, well, yeah, I mean, the information from the surface that's really far away and at a really shallow angle to you is being diffracted by all the ripples and the bumps and the waves and everything that's on the surface. So it's like, you can imagine if someone was trying to shine a light or a laser beam towards you across the surface. I mean, we know that even microwaves don't travel across, or when they're beamed above water, they don't travel very far because it just breaks up the beam. Yeah, so vision is the same. You just don't see it, and our mind fills in the blanks, and that's it. Yeah. It would be amazing, really. I mean, see, when I first started out doing this, it was horizons that did it for me. It's like, yeah, that's how horizons work. That's how we see them. They are not curvature. And then so you have your globies insisting that horizons are curvature. And then you point out, well, look, the horizon rises above where it was. It can't be curvature if you're using it as horizons as a belief in a fixed geometric shape. It's not fixed. It moves with us. The Earth doesn't change shape just because of you subjectively, does it? So, this is the thing, though. I wouldn't say, well, horizons prove flat Earth. But if the globies that studied it looked at horizons and said, oh, yeah, you're right, actually, horizons don't prove the globe, that would demonstrate that they are being open-minded, at least. It doesn't mean they have to give up their belief in the globe just because it was pointed out and proven to them just through a simple observation that horizons cannot be Earth curve. There's no way, absolutely no way. And sunsets and sunrises are not Earth curve, easily explained. And, if the Globie could have said, oh, well, actually, yeah, you could be right there. No, because in their minds, because every single little thing is like it's a major puzzle piece, and that, their whole belief is based on that false assumption that horizons are curve. Of course, there's all these other explanations that go along with it, but that's a main one. And so, yeah, I'm sure they consciously realize that they cannot even give up that in the name of at least coming across as being pragmatic and scientific, when it's proven that horizons are not curvature, scientifically shown with observations, because Horizons are just observations. They're not. Yeah, it makes me laugh when people talk about radar as well. How far do you expect a radar to be able to beam and then send that information back to you? So a radar is going whirring around, sending this thing out for like a few hundred miles, and then you're expecting it to ping back an aircraft at like 300 or more miles? Of course it isn't. You know, the signal getting to the aircraft and bouncing off it and coming back to you is not going to happen. It's just physically impossible. Not because of any Earth curve. What's that, the Bristolian? If a ship disappears after 3 to 6 miles, we must be living on a rolling bed. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but okay, question there. YouTube, hello. All right, just saying hi. All right, nice one. You're always late, Ute. When I see you come into the chat, it's like, okay, I was just about to wrap it up. Bristolian, perspective dissonance. Oh, good one. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. Okay, one man, thank you very much for popping in. Okay, have a good one. Take it easy. Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to wrap it up there, I think. I'm sorry I couldn't get the chat displayed. And I understand why people do it now, because the chat takes ages to reappear after the live broadcast. But never mind. Yeah. So anyway, next time you're... I'd love to know where heaven fits into the whole heliocentric globe model. Where is it? Where's heaven? How do you get there? Where's your proof? Show me the stairway. Yeah. All right. I love you and leave you. Have a great weekend. We'll catch up very soon. Take care, everyone. Cheers.